This is my 1927 Ford Model T Tudor Sedan, and this car is for sale. All the information is down in the description of this video, including the asking price, my phone number. You can call or text me anytime. This is my personal car. I've owned it this past year, and I've really enjoyed it. It was not something that I was out looking for. It fell into my lap. A friend of mine, he and his wife inherited this car from her grandfather. And the story is that it's from Angelica, New York. This car was kind of fixed up at some point in the 1950s. It's a really nice, solid, mechanically sound Ford Model T. But if you're looking for a parade car or a showroom perfect car, this is not for you. But if you're looking for a really nice driver Model T that has had all the mechanicals ironed out, well, then this is your car. If you want a piece of American history, actually not just American history, this is part of the history of civilization, really, when it comes down to the automobile that became available for the common man. And so, absolutely. My neighbor stopped mowing his yard and now we can hear now. So that's good. But let me tell you all about this car. I'll show you the good, the bad, mostly good. Any of the problems that this car has is just purely cosmetic. It does have all of its original sheet metal. It's not a rust bucket. The floor pan is not, rusted out in the back or anything like that. It's really solid. In the shadows here, we're deep into October. Even though it's the middle of the afternoon, the shadows are long. Oh, school bus is beeping. So here in the shadows, the paint looks real shiny, and it is. It's got a lot of shine to it, but there's a lot of scratches, chips, and dings in this car. This thing's 97 years old. And even though I know this paint, I think, was redone in the 50s, and there was some body work done on it in the 50s, it's still really just, it shows well for a Model T. I like the fact that it's not perfect, and I love the fact that it's black. I just think all Model Ts should be black, and they were for the most part. 1927, this was the last year of the Model Ts. But you can see there's chips back here on the cowl. There's scratches. I mean, nice reflections in the paint. But in this cowl does sit flush. I just have it unlatched right now so I can show you under the hood here in a few moments. There's scratches on the inside of the fender. These are the original Ford stamped metal running boards. There's no fiberglass fenders or anything on this. It's in good shape. The glass is all there and in nice shape. The interior is good on it. The floorboards are good. These tires are like brand new. My friend had these put on just a couple years ago, and I bet you they don't even have 20 miles on them. This car has been stored indoors. I've had a lot done to it mechanically, and it really starts up and runs really nice. What this is here is some water. I did spray this off earlier. You can see some of the water still evaporating out of the radiator. I just cleaned it up. It sits inside. I've done a lot of work to it. Really, really nice, good driver quality Model T. All right, well, let me just show you some of the paint. MH is the initials of the grandfather of my friend's wife. They inherited this car. It's really the most charming thing ever. It's not really what I'm interested in. I wasn't looking for this car. I just decided, hey, what the heck? I've never owned one. I thought I'd try it out, and man, I've enjoyed it for what it is. I'm more of a muscle car guy, so this really isn't my normal niche, but it is charming. It's got an original 1927 New York license plate on it. That is so cool. I mean, think of the history here. It's got its original bumpers, its original fenders. There is some paint chips. You can see there's little dings. There's some body work up here. This is probably the worst of it on the entire car. It's solid, it's metal, but someone had glassed it over at some point, and there's a big chip at the bottom of the door. It has its original brass door handles. Interior was probably done sometime in the 50s. It's this gray corduroy material. I don't know. I don't think that's original, but it probably is 70 years old by now. It's very appropriate for the car. Nice headliner. The glass is all in good shape. We've got the safari window, tip out safari window, the manual windshield wiper, all the normal standard controls for a Model T. If you've never driven one of these things, it's more like flying a biplane from World War I than it is driving a car. There is nothing conventional about it. There is no gas pedal on the floor. Your throttle is a stalk up here on the steering column. It's got your Awuga horn under the hood. It's working great. Your spark advance over here. When you drive these cars, you tune them as you go. You've got a choke adjustment over here, and you'll notice that it's not sitting flush with the dash. That's because I upgraded the induction system. When I get you under the hood or the cowl, I will show you that. I do have the original speedometer. It does not work. I was going to have that restored, but I do have it, and that'll go with the car, so you won't have to look at that big ugly hole in the dash. Or if you just want a car that you could restore pretty easily, this would be a great candidate for that. I mean, it doesn't need to be restored. Probably the other worst part of it over here, there's some crummy bodywork here. It's not rusty or crunchy. It's just somebody had, you know, put a little Bondo in this at some point, and it probably was, I don't know how many decades ago. And it's just looking a little crummy over here. It's kind of cracking a little bit, but it's not like I'm cranking on it. It's not like flaking off or anything. It's just an older fixer upper, or I don't know, would you go so far to say, was this restored back in the 50s? I did see some pictures of it from back in the day, and of course many, many decades ago it was in better shape than it is now, obviously. But it's a real nice driver, and I'm shocked how well it really runs. And let me start showing you all the good. Like I said, new tires, brand new tires, no dry rotting or cracking. It does have a spare and a spare cover back here on the back, and that spare is a little dry rotted. It's an older tire that's on the back, but that's just the spare. I've left the cowl latched here so you can see under here. It's really squared away. And let me tell you everything I've done with it. The motor's real solid, good compression in all cylinders. Starting from the top, working our way down, I do have the cover for the coil box. I just don't have it on right now because I wanted to show you the new coils. All four of these are brand new. They're like a month old, maybe 2 months old by now. And they're brand new. Brand new. The Awuga horn is working good. It's got new spark plugs. The spark plug wires are newer on it. But everything here in the fuel delivery system and the exhaust is all brand new. It has a brand new NH carburetor on it. And when I converted this over to this carburetor sits back a little bit further, and so that explains why the choke is not sitting flush with the dash on the inside. Okay, the reflections. So you can see that choke knob in there is not sitting flush. All you'd have to do is remove this, choke linkage, shorten it, and make it sit flush. You could do that if you want. All right, so this is a brand new, or I should say a really nice reconditioned original Ford Model T intake manifold. This is a brand new remanufactured, actually it's brand new repopped exhaust manifold from Lang's. They're the Model T expert in Massachusetts. Brand new Holley NH carburetor. The exhaust, you can see the exhaust, the pack nut, this big brass pack nut back there. The entire exhaust with the muffler is all new. This is the conversion throttle linkage for the new carburetor. This is running a 6-volt system. You could always convert it over to 12 volt pretty easily. All you have to do is convert the generator to 12 volt and the starter to 12 volt and some light bulbs, and you know, you're good to go. I actually was thinking about doing that, but if I'm going to sell it, I'll let the next owner deal with that. So everything is really squared away mechanically under the hood. Really nice. Got the brass radiator, the brass bezels on the headlights, the hand crank. It does work and start the car, though I have to admit it makes me nervous. If you don't know what you're doing, you can break your hand or your arm trying to start it up. But this is a 27, and so they come with an electric starter. You've got your starter here, which is a button on the floor that you use with your foot. All right, you can move this into the hand lever there in center position. Come on inside. Let's see if we can start it up. This thing really runs good. Turn your key to the left. You've got your spark advance. You can hear your coils buzzing. You know, put that spark advance. Oh, move it down maybe an inch or so. A little throttle over here. That might be enough. All right. Hand lever, center position. Brake pedal is on the right. There's nothing that is like a conventional car. Nothing at all. So when you learn how to drive a Model T, you are starting from scratch. There's nothing that is like a car that you and I know. It's more like a tractor than it is like a modern car. And then you got your foot switch down here. Go reach over here, pull the choke out. Oh, let's see. There we go. Really runs nice. Give it a little throttle. Oh, got the air bleed here. Oh, I think I turned that air bleed. I think gave it a little too much throttle, and of course this happens. There we go. Yeah, like that. Just wants to eat. Kind of got to learn the personality of the car. Less throttle, get it down to an idle. There we go. Really runs good. Down here you got a reverse pedal. You got to put your hand lever in the center position or first gear. You got a reverse pedal here in the middle. We hold that down. Oh, I need more throttle. There we go. Woo! Or you got your clutch or your first gear over here. Put that down. Oh, I didn't know. There we go. We'll back up again. These things really like plenty of throttle. So there's reverse. Woo! Let's take off, brake. Car stops good. First gear. Pedal down. And away we go. And brake. Let's throttle, get it back down to idle. And there you have it. Ford Model T. Hey, give me a call, 716-338-6530. My name is Tim. This car is located in Jamestown, New York. I'm very negotiable on the price. If you're a Model T guy, come and get it. Thanks for watching today.